There's an ancient music industry haiku. I'll use Bob Dylan as an example. And it goes like, who is this Bob Dylan? The second line says, find me this Bob Dylan. Third line is, we're looking for more of a Bob Dylan. The next line says, we're looking for a younger Bob Dylan. And the final line says, who the hell is Bob Dylan?
All right, ladies and gents, gather round, gather round. We got value going once, truth going twice. Sold for a song. That's right, folks. Rights signed away, data given away, pennies on the play. Publishing, gone. Credit, missing. Ownership, kiss it goodbye. 50 pages of catch-22s, no dice. You can't eat a like, a follow, or a view. Sold for a song. But wait now, hold your bits, hold your breath. Here comes the truth louder than the bass line. Time to take it back, where the artists rise, the system shakes, and the silence finally breaks.
Welcome to Sold for a Song, the transformative podcast that dissects the music industry's long-standing practice of undervaluing its most essential contributors. Yes, we're talking songwriters and artists. In each episode, we'll delve into the journey of recognizing and elevating the true worth and value of music creators, discover how the industry has exploited creators, and learn actionable strategies to revolutionize this trend and take control of your career. Hello, podcast land. I'm Terrence Sawchuk, but you can call me Terry. After 30 plus years in the trenches of the music industry, trust me, I've seen it all. The highs, the heartbreaks, and the resilience it takes to succeed as a creator. Here's what I've learned. Awakening your self-worth, owning and leveraging your value, and streamlining the process to free up the time we need to do what we most love to do, which is create. That's what stands between you and the freedom we're all chasing. All right, before we dive in, if you believe in empowering artists and redefining what it means to thrive creatively, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a quick review, and share this episode with someone who truly needs it. That one click helps more than you know. And if you want to go deeper, join me at terrencesawchuk.com to be a part of the community and follow all of my endeavors for exclusive content and updates. Happy Tuesday, all you crazy misfit Sold for a Song listeners. I am so grateful for every one of you that tune in each week to listen. Thank you so much. I just want to tell you how much I fight with trying to figure out what to do with podcasts each week, and it is a hell of a fight, let me tell you. I know we all go through this. Any kind of task or creative idea, a thing that you want to bring to fruition is often met with the dreaded imposter syndrome. Anyway, I've managed to wrestle a topic to the ground that I want to focus on, something extremely important to the whole Sold for a Song movement, but I think it's important to everyone. The title of this podcast is, I Just Want to Be Unique Like Everyone Else. I say this often to be an idiot, usually, but it's true. The lack of focus that's put on being our actual unique selves in society is almost non-existent, at least in the school system. I mean, everywhere, let's be honest. I love telling artists that there are over 11 million artists on Spotify alone, and you have zero competition. But the non-creators in the music industry will tell you, you know, this is what's selling, this is what we need, this is what we're looking for. There's an ancient music industry haiku. I'll use Bob Dylan as an example, and it goes like, who is this Bob Dylan? The second line says, find me this Bob Dylan. Third line is, we're looking for more of a Bob Dylan. The next line says, we're looking for a younger Bob Dylan. And the final line says, who the hell is Bob Dylan? So can't take it personally. I understand business is business, and music industry that's why it's called music business and not music. It operates on market share. You know, a label really doesn't care at the end of the day which of the artists on their roster, and I'm talking from a shareholder standpoint, not the people who are in the trenches, A&R people who are massive music fans who love what they do. I'm talking the boardroom meetings. They really don't care who is dominating the charts and whose career is over next week, as long as somebody on the roster is dominating and some portion of, or hopefully majority of the market share. Now, we as creators can't operate that way. We have to be coming from a place of reality, creativity, authenticity, But at the same time, we want to make a living. So, it's kind of like, do you want to swing the golf club to play with your buddies on the weekend? Or do you want to be able to buy a home and put your kids through private school with that golf club? So these are all two very different approaches to life if you want to make music. But I believe the best roadway to making a sustainable living is going to be tied to how you are able to tap into the unique blueprint that is you. I want to take a sidestep and talk about a podcast that I listened to. It was actually on Tony Robbins' podcast, and it was an episode by Dr. Bruce Lipton. It was a live talk that he did at a Tony Robbins seminar, and they use it as content as a podcast episode. I cannot recommend it enough for anyone and everyone. If you can fog a mirror, you need to listen to this podcast with Dr. Bruce Lipton on the Tony Robbins podcast. The way Dr. Lipton framed how we live 95% of our lives based on programming that we acquired from outside sources by the age 7 initiated a huge paradigm shift in me. To think that programming instead of our God-given unique creativity was the norm in how we managed our lives, this made sense in why we struggle so much with fear towards authenticity. It's downloaded into our brain like malware. Dr. Lipton says that movement is the secret to life. Action. It literally is in our DNA. The signal from God, Spirit, Star Wars, Bob, I really don't care what you call it. Your genes are determined by your consciousness and your environment. Here's an analogy. Your DNA is like a library of blueprints, but just because a book is in the library doesn't mean you have to read it. The environment determines which book or genes get read. Lipton's discovery is that genes don't tune in by themselves. They are activated by proteins responding to signals from the environment. These signals can come from things like toxins, diet, exercise, emotions, beliefs, stress, fear, subconscious programming, childhood experiences, trauma, learned behaviors, etc., etc., etc. So your consciousness influences your biochemical environment that tells proteins how to interact with your DNA. This means you're not controlled by your genes. You control them through your thoughts, environment, and lifestyle. The framework is thoughts, environment, emotions. You are not a victim to these things. You are the master of them. So that is the gist of the hour and a half or so podcast with Dr. Bruce Lipton, and I'm guaranteeing that I'm butchering this at best. But what I want you to get out of this, just like the long-standing history of songs and songwriters and creators being undervalued, we kind of all have the same beginning where we develop these programmed frameworks early on in life that we just subconsciously carry with us. And the price of that is that we lose touch with who we actually are, before the influence, the programming, the environment that we grew up in. So why is Dr. Bruce Lipton will always say, why is this relevant? Why is this relevant to creatives, songwriters, artists? It's imperative that we get in touch with who we actually are. The cool thing for us is we get to use all of these stories, any trauma, that kind of thing. They become the actual songs. They become our roadway out or our roadway back home to who we actually are. It seems. We seem to be the one channeling this song or message or experience. I guess in essence, we become the first listener and pass that on. And what I like to believe is that we pass this on to awaken some kind of revelation in others. And I truly believe that's the purpose of life. That's the secret to life, is we discover that unique God-given self beyond the programming, beyond the axiom, beyond the judgment, beyond the environment, the real true us, and use that unique blueprint that is only instilled in us to bring meaning to life and to awaken the same in others. And so on and so on. We pay it forward. So to me, this is the workaround. How do we compete with the noise that is out there? Simple. You don't compete. You never compete. You turn inwards. You fearlessly find that unapologetically creative self. You bring it to the world. You let it help and heal others in whatever way your music hits. And that's where you want to be. Unique, just like everybody else. If today's episode lit a fire in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to Sold for a Song, leave a review, and be the spark that helps others discover their own worth. And if you're ready to go deeper, my upcoming book and Artist Accelerator course are all waiting for you inside my private portal. Visit TerrenceSawchuk.com. Let's build this movement together.